By late 2021, intelligence analysts in Washington had achieved a rare level of clarity. They possessed high-confidence evidence detailing Vladimir Putin's inner-circle discretions and his specific, secret timetable for a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. But having perfect vision into an adversary's plan reveals a specific kind of weakness. Knowing the future is only useful if you have the tools to change it. President Biden viewed this crisis through the failures of Vietnam and the recent withdrawal from Afghanistan. To prevent a wider conflict, he established a hard boundary. He would provide support, but he would not deploy American boots to the Ukrainian battlefield. This left his national security team, Antony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, and Lloyd Austin, to solve a math problem with half the variables removed. Their challenge was split across two distinct maps. They had to stop a hostile superpower from consuming Ukraine, while simultaneously preventing an ally in the Middle East from triggering a regional war, all while the primary tool of American power was off the table. This constraint moves the struggle away from traditional military dominance. It forces a reliance on the narrow, high-risk application of diplomatic and economic leverage. In January 2022, as Russian forces massed on the border, the administration made a final attempt to resolve the crisis on the neutral ground of Geneva. Secretary Blinken offered a detailed diplomatic off-ramp, citing the intelligence on Russian troop movements. Sergei Lavrov simply lied. He claimed Russia had no plans to invade, and that the real threat came from the West. With the diplomatic path blocked, the U.S. pivoted to building a proxy deterrent. They began an aggressive campaign to arm the Ukrainian military and unify the NATO alliance against the coming invasion. This strategy carried a lethal risk. Every shipment of advanced hardware pushed the U.S. closer to a threshold that might cause Putin to retaliate with a nuclear weapon. To manage this, Jake Sullivan and the Pentagon operated what they called an escalation algorithm. They mapped every weapon system against the potential Russian reaction, trying to calculate the exact amount of support Ukraine needed without triggering a nuclear response. Against a hostile adversary, leverage is a game of high-stakes brinkmanship. It is an attempt to induce enough pain to stop a war, while ensuring the situation never slips into a global catastrophe. Following the October 7th attacks, the focus shifted to the Middle East. Here, the U.S. faced a different problem, an ally fighting an existential threat in the dense corridor of Gaza. The administration tried to use its multi-billion-dollar aid packages to shape the outcome. But in Dubai, Blinken hit a wall. Arab leaders from Egypt and Jordan refused to discuss the security of Gaza unless the U.S. could guarantee an independent Palestinian state. This political stalemate left a vacuum. Without a shared plan for governance, the military campaign continued in a cycle of destruction that the U.S. could neither stop nor steer. The relationship reached a breaking point. President Biden eventually confronted Prime Minister Netanyahu directly, demanding to know why Israel was conducting escalating strikes in Beirut and Tehran that ignored American warnings. It revealed a core truth in foreign policy. Even billions in aid cannot force a sovereign nation to compromise on what it perceives as its vital national security. Against an ally, leverage can be an illusion. The U.S. often finds itself financing a conflict while struggling to influence the political decisions behind the weapons. Ukraine and the Middle East demonstrate that the White House can no longer simply dictate global stability. Its influence now operates within a defined set of boundaries. Bob Woodward highlights a distinct methodology in this era, a shift from the impulsive, personal instincts of the Trump years to a highly structured, process-driven attempt to manage multiple wars at once. The goal is the prevention of a global fire. Success depends on keeping these localized conflicts from merging into one another. This requires an exhausting application of diplomatic machinery. It means constant negotiation with allies who refuse to compromise and adversaries who continue to escalate. Presidential power today is measured by the catastrophes that never happen. It is defined by the quiet, exhausting prevention of a global escalation.